All right, as we can see on our screens right now, it is the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, arriving at the ANC's NEC meeting in Boksburg. The President has just arrived to attend that meeting. Of course, we know that this NEC meeting is a weekend at the back of another scathing criticism from former President Thabo Mbeki. Our reporter, Aviwe Mtila, is there, and let's just hear if we can get him on the line. Aviwe, can you hear me?
President making his way inside the Birchwood Hotel, the conference center, where, of course, the NEC meeting of the African National Congress is set to take place any moment now. They'll be here for the next 3 days as they delve into a myriad issues. I heard earlier on from Mahlengi Bengi, the national spokesperson of the party, that the biggest talking point and discussions that will be happening here, at least 60% will be circulated around service delivery itself. We've seen a lot of the ANC NEC members, that's the highest decision-making body in between conferences, already make their way inside here. Any moment now, we're expecting then a photo opportunity of the President, and we're expecting then him to even address the media. It's not even far from where we are, as my colleague Mokomosi Stuk is showing you, where the photo opportunity and that press briefing, well, an impromptu doorstop, we are told, with the President. Of course, it will be largely circulated around the conflict that's happening in the Gaza Strip, Israel and the Hamas. And we do know the ANC has time and again supported and stood with the people of Palestine. So it'll be interesting then to hear the President, and of course on the current conflict that's going on now. A lot of them already draped in black here. That's the members of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress, and also wearing those kafirs in solidarity with Palestine. So we're expecting them to be underway any moment here, and time and again we'll be having those press briefings, with the first press briefing set to start at 11 o'clock with the Secretary General of the African National Congress, Fikile Mbalula, who will be outlining what the intention of this particular NEC meeting is about, and just what the outcomes that they're looking to get from this particular NEC meeting. But of course, leading to this particular NEC meeting, the ANC itself has been making the headlines. A lot of talking points and spats that we've seen in the public domain. One even between the ANC Youth League President Collen Malatji, as well as the National Executive, the National Chairperson of the ANC, that would be Gwede Mantashe. We understand that the Youth League itself, through its president, suggested that 50% of the lists that the African National Congress presents, whether it be to the provincial legislature or the national parliament itself, must consist of the youth. But of course, we heard the rebuttal coming from the chairperson, Gwede Mantashe, of the mother body, the national chairperson of the ANC, suggesting that in order for that to happen, they'd first actually have to get, gain ground in the student politics and university politics. They first have to win the SRC elections there before then they can, get those seats that they seemingly want here. But not the only spat. Just 2 days ago, I was in Aziz Pahad's memorial organized by the ANC, where we had former president and also part of the NEC member Thabo Mbeki delivering the eulogy there. We heard him speaking quite strongly and critiquing the ANC, dating back to 2017. You'd remember at the Nasrec conference where he elected Cyril Ramaphosa as the president, and the current president was re-elected again just last December in the conference again in Nasrec. There, one of the adopted resolution was that, in fact, they'd renew the party itself. We understand, of course, the party marred with allegations of corruption. You just have to look at the Zondo Commission, where at least more than 200 members of the ANC are implicated in those Zondo Commission and the outcomes of it. So the suggestion was that they'd renew themselves back in 2017. Thabo Mbeki coming out saying that they haven't done that, failed to do that in 2017. They recently readopted it at the conference that happened in Nasrec once more in December, suggesting that that renewal process is something that is still yet to happen. And oddly enough, this is the second utterance from the former president in at least 2 months. Just in UNISA about a month ago, he made similar utterances critiquing the African National Congress, and we heard then in one of these manifesto reviews of the ANC a sort of response from President Cyril Ramaphosa, suggesting that the elders and some of these former presidents ought to go to the party itself and have those internal discussions if they have pointed views about what's currently happening in the party itself. But then on Thursday, we heard then those sentiments reshared again by former President Thabo Mbeki. So it talks to maybe some of the spats that we're seeing within the party. Why is it difficult then, if he hasn't done so, for the former president to talk to these issues directly to the party? Does it have merit compared to see what we're seeing play out in civil society, what we're seeing play out within the party itself? So a lot of criticism towards the party itself. I'm seeing the members of the media now moving towards where we are expecting this doorstop to happen. So any moment from now is when we're expecting the president to come out to some of the NEC members here. A lot of them will be draped in black and also wearing those kafirs in solidarity with Palestine. I'm seeing some of the youth league, in fact, Collen Malatji, flanked by his secretary there, that was recently announced. I'm not sure if we'll be able to have a word with them, but it looks like they're also gearing up then to move towards a direction where we're expecting that impromptu briefing to happen, as well as that photo opportunity. I don't know if we can move towards the two leaders of the ANC Youth League, maybe just to get some sentiments ahead of the NEC meeting, and maybe some of what they would like as the youth. I mean, we heard those utterances and the spat that's sort of like playing out at the moment. Will they present those views once more in this NEC? I'm going to bring in Collen Malatji, the president of the ANC Youth League. We've seen the public spat, if we can call it that, between you and the National Chairperson, Gwede Mantashe. Just speaking of the 50% split that you want as the youth, whether it be in the provincial legislature as well as in the national government. But he seems to suggest that you first need to win the universities as the ANC Youth League. Will you be presenting some of what you want to be represented by the youth inside this NEC meeting? And what can we expect from the Youth League to be presented in the NEC meeting?
The ANC is pro-youth. It is agreed that the majority of young people must be in all corridors of power. And one of those corridors is parliament, legislature, councils, executives of boards, board members. We are not only focusing on parliament. It's a broad aspect in all business opportunities of the country. The young people must be there. And I think the national chair agrees that now is the time for the youth. The mood of the country is the mood of young people.
But the national chair says first win the universities, which you seem to be getting, sort of a red, bloody nose there.
Look, the youth league does not contest SRC elections. We support SASCO. We've been struggling due to many other issues, including NEFSAS, and there are many issues that have affected students. And SRC elections, we don't win them in December or November. We win them in January, where everyone needs assistance. Where students need to be registered, need to access funding, and all of these issues affect them, accommodation. Now, SASCO in January was faced with structural issues. There are parallel and many internal problems. Now, we're saying that now that we're fixing the structural issues of SASCO, will improve our election results. It's not for the first time anyway, where SASCO loses elections this year. When they improve their work the other year, they win elections everywhere else. It's not a new thing. Students always support organizations that address their matters.
And in this particular ADC meeting, what will you be putting forward as a youth league that you want advanced by the party?
Look, the strengthening of state-owned entities for the purpose of a developmental state. We'll be pushing the issue of high level of unemployment of youth, that there must be clear set-aside programs that addresses that high level of unemployment. Crime is a big thing in South Africa. We need to address it urgently. The issue of illegal foreigners in South Africa is a big matter. You can't ignore it anymore. Our big and small towns are hijacked by illegal foreigners. If you don't manage that, we're going to become a lawless country. Now, those are issues that we'll be addressing here. And I think that everyone agrees that if you don't address this issue on an urgent basis, this country will go to dogs.
And the suggestion from former President Thabo Mbeki is that the urgent matter that needs to be addressed by the party is actually renewing itself, the issue of renewal, which he mentioned just 2 days ago, that the party has failed to do so since 2017. You've come in December, well, recently as a Youth League president. Is this renewal being driven, or are you agreeing with the former president?
Look, it's happening. Maybe it's not happening at the fast rate as the expectation of the former president of the ANC. Out of concern and interest as the former president of the ANC, any president of the ANC would want to see the ANC succeed. But if you can check, today in the ANC today, there's no one who's charged of crimes who's still in structures of the ANC. And those are issues that we spoke about as a renewal project. The other thing that we must resolve now is our quality of membership, which we are busy with. Because we've identified that as one of the problems, that our quality of membership is very low. We need to intensify political education. We have appointed the former Premier of Gauteng, former Chair of Gauteng, Comrade David Makura, as Head of Political Education. Now, those are part of the programs of assisting the renewal process.
I want you to, maybe in your own words, critique the current state of governance within South Africa. You just came in as a Youth League president. I'm sure you're seeing time and again the water woes that are plaguing Gauteng and the rest of the country. You're seeing the load shedding woes that are plaguing, South Africa in its entirety. Issues of high unemployment, especially among the youth, the highest levels that we've ever seen before. Is the party doing enough for its people?
Look, that is on top of the agenda. As the Youth League, we're calling ministers every day to our office to give them solutions on how to resolve some of these problems. The days of complaining are gone. We are here to resolve problems. We can critique every day as much as we want, but if you don't have solutions to resolve all these problems, it's a problem. Now we're acting on it. Where there is no service delivery, we're making sure that we whip everyone to online to work and deliver services. Issue of energy security is on top of our agenda every day. We want the issue to be resolved. Now we have plans in place, and those are part of the things that we're engaging here today.
But we've always had plans in place. What are they saying? How are they going to deal with these issues? Are they practical measures that you see with timelines that will meet the issues that you say you're engaging with these ministers on a daily basis?
Look, we're watching them closely. We've given them timelines. We say that from here until elections, we should have resolved at least urgent matters. Issues of service delivery, high level of unemployment, and making sure that the state-owned entities go back to what they must do.
And it's months away, elections next year, probably first half of the year. Enough time? Do you have enough time?
Look, it's an everyday responsibility. If by the time we get to elections, there's progress and 80% of the work is done, South Africans will see that the ANC is now acting on its commitments.
Okay. Collen Malatji is the president of the African National Congress's Youth League, recently elected just months ago, of course, to lead the youth that follow the African National Congress as the party now sets up, of course, for the NEC meeting that is to take place from today right up and through to Monday. We, as the media, will be updated on a regular basis, almost a 2-hourly basis today, with those press briefings expected. But the first would be the president himself, flanked by some of these NEC members. Any time from now, we were told 9 o'clock is when that photo opportunity is set to happen, and then followed by an impromptu doorstop where we ought to have questions towards the president of the African National Congress, Cyril Ramaphosa. So it's the NEC meeting here, the highest decision-making body of the African National Congress. In between conferences, it's the top 87. That will be the top 7 as well as the 80 that were elected in December to take the party forward. Of course, the NEC that will carry the African National Congress into next year's elections. A lot to look into. Service delivery, appalling levels that we're seeing right across the country. Corruption, appalling levels that we're really seeing right across the country. We've heard elders from the party, such as former President Thabo Mbeki, who's part of the NEC, suggesting that the party is failing to renew itself. Maybe we'll hear the response then from President Cyril Ramaphosa. But we did hear an initial response, because this is not the first time that the former president has spoken out. About a month ago, he spoke out in UNISA as well, suggesting that the party is failing to renew itself and rid itself of the corrupt ways that has now become synonymous with the African National Congress. President Cyril Ramaphosa, in one of these manifesto reviews, suggesting that the elders need to come to the party and speak to the party internally and assist in ways of ensuring that that program of renewal that we always hear being spoken about is something that's actually happening. President Thabo Mbeki suggesting that in December as well, that particular resolution was taken once more. It's almost 8 or so months, 9 or so months down the line, and yet not much has changed, he suggests, for the party renewing itself. And his concern was that the dying generation of struggle stalwarts is not there anymore, such as Aziz Pahad, who recently lost his life 2 weeks ago, suggesting that that would be one of the people who would be there advocating for the unity of the ANC as well as the renewal of the ANC. So a lot to look into for the party here. Energy security, as we know, we now live in the times of load shedding. What will be done about it? We saw the electricity minister, Hosienzo Ramogopa, suggesting, even in these briefings that he time and again has, suggesting that he was given a mandate to at least acquire some 8,000 megawatts, and he says he's almost there. And in fact, by the time he reaches December, he would at least have acquired nearly 10 or so, even more than what the president had appointed him to get. So that is to be seen. But of course, one of the burning issues is the water issues that you see play out on our channel on almost a daily basis. People really hit hard by the water woes around the country, and seemingly the solutions aren't forthcoming, with allegations that even some of these issues are done deliberately by the very service providers in order for them then to get these tenders of the water tankers delivering the waters to the very communities, and also maybe seemingly extorting them. My colleague Mohamed Stuki is pointing me in that direction, suggesting that maybe we need to move a bit closer on to where the president then, in any time from now, will be addressing members of the media and also having that photo opportunity. As we know, ANC standing with Palestine, especially as the ongoing conflict seems to be strengthening and getting harder in the Gaza Strip.
Thank you so much for that update. We will definitely be crossing with you again, Aviwe Mtila. They're live in Boksburg at the Birchwood Hotel. As we can see on our screens, that's where the president will be addressing the media moments from now. Of course, he went into that NEC meeting, and we will be going there live as soon as the president will be taking the stand. As we can also see the ANC flag next to the Palestinian flag. Like my colleague Aviwe said earlier, the ANC NEC members are donning black today in support of Palestine and of course of what's happening in the Gaza Strip, that conflict there. As we know, thousands have been killed so far, including more than 400 children in the Gaza Strip. Of course, a very sad situation. And as we know, historically, the ANC in support of Palestine. We'll get all of the details a little later, but basically what will be discussed is, again, that burning issue of the renewal of the governing party, the ANC. And of course, like we heard earlier as well, former President Thabo Mbeki, he again had some scathing criticism for the ruling party, saying that the renewal process isn't taking shape. We know that the ANC recently has also been in the spotlight yet again when it comes to convicted criminals holding critical positions within the party and governing party. And of course, unqualified and unskilled people being appointed to positions within government. The list continues. Like Aviwe said, those syndicates, those criminal syndicates coming into the spotlight as well. And that is something that needs to take top priority, and hopefully it will be discussed at this NEC meeting, because we know it's plaguing this country, and extortionists also, including in that list these business forums, basically mafias trying to control every single cent when it comes to these projects, building projects. The list continues, and as we said, the water issue also should be taking top priority when it comes to this NEC meeting. But we will be discussing all of this a little bit later with Aviwe Mtila.